The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and fuel marketers under the aegis of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria on Tuesday clashed over again the removal of subsidy on petrol. On the back of the falling naira rate, economists and oil marketers said PMS subsidy was increasing, but the NNPC quickly countered these positions and declared that it was recovering its full cost on the importation of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol. However, oil marketers insist that subsidy on petrol was increasing, considering the crash of the naira against the United States dollar and the cost of crude oil, stressing that PMS should sell for 1,200 naira per litre in a free market. This morning, Dr. Muda Yusuf, Chief Executive Officer, Center for the Promotion of Enterprises, joins me on this particular issue. It's nice to have you around, Dr. Yusuf.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. For many Nigerians, President Tinubu's announcement that the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirits puts paid to the issue of subsidy payments in the country. But from where you sit or stand, what is the true situation? Is the petrol subsidy truly over?
Well, technically speaking, we can say that we still have what you can call a partial subsidy on fuel. Because you define subsidy as the difference between the market price, that is if a private investor, for instance, wants to import fuel, puts its margin, transport cost, and sell and also make a profit. The difference between the market price and the pump price. Obviously, given all the parameters that determines the market price of PMS, particularly the global crude oil price and the exchange rates, the market price as of today definitely will be higher than the pump price. And just as you said, the market price will be anywhere between 800 to 900 naira per litre. Whereas the pump price, at least in Lagos, is around 600. And in some other parts of the country, around 650. And in some other parts, I think it's close to 700. So technically speaking, there's a partial subsidy.
Well, you're saying that technically there's a partial subsidy. This isn't the first time, anyway, that marketers would be insinuating that there is still a level of subsidy on premium motor spirits. Now, the federal government has vehemently denied this. So why is it that the federal government can't just come out and say, okay, we understand that we've removed fuel subsidy, but then it's in a partial state. We are paying on these particular commodity or paying on cost of production or paying on these. We're not paying totally on the cost of course, producing crude and making it available for Nigerians. Why can't they just come out and say that, make it explicit to Nigerians? And if the government, of course, will continue to pay subsidy on PMS, what implication would that have on the country and the government's purse?
You see, government has a responsibility to be sensitive to the plight of Nigerians. We all know the kind of hardship that Nigerians are going through at the moment. This certainly is not the time for anybody to be promoting the idea of further increases in fuel price. Nigerians are going through a lot. We know what the inflationary situation is. We know what the cost of energy is. We know what the exchange rate is. And we know the implication of all of this for the welfare of the people. Governance is not just about economics. Governance is also about human beings. So if the government is taking this step to ensure that we don't see further increases in price, I think the government is only being sensitive to the plight of the people. And this is what governance is all about. You have to balance economics with social considerations, with political considerations. Because at the end of the day, governance is about human beings. Even in the advanced economies, when prices are getting to a particular threshold, they subsidize. I'll give you an example. In the EU, in 2022, where we had this very serious problem with energy prices. There's a subsidy of over 100 billion euro by European governments on this cost of fossil fuel, just to ensure that the pressure on the citizens is not too much. So what the government has done is to shield the citizens from the pains. And you are talking about whether the government is not disclosing fully. The NNPC is basically in charge of this. And they have said that they are recovering their costs. A government agency is not supposed to be purely a business enterprise. So there's a social dimension to the activities of NNPC through the government. If the NNPC was purely a business concern, then you can be talking about, okay, they are supposed to sell for 1,000, they are selling at 600. But what they are telling us now is that they are not selling at a lot, that they are recovering their costs. So what is the problem?
So the problem,
we need to take care of the citizens.
Dr. Yusuf, the problem at this point is the fact that this is becoming a recurring decimal between the government and IPMAN. Now, it has come to light that both parties are now worrying over what is expected to be paid by consumers on PMS. And we all know that the removal of subsidy means market forces should dictate the price of premium motor spirits, but that has not happened. So if the government continues to remain coy, or in some quarters it's been said that it's half truth, half lies from government, what do you think should be done to ensure that these clashes between the government and IPMAN ends and we have a stable price to be paid for PMS, even if we know that the price will not come down?
Now, I mean, we are all in this economy together. The IPMAN and some of the oil marketers have a commercial objective. The objective is to be in business, to be able to import and sell at a price that will enable them to recoup their costs and also make a profit. The objective of a government is partially economic and also partially social. Government has a social objective. Business doesn't have much of a social objective. So there is no meeting point here. For as long as oil price remains as high as it is, for as long as the poverty level remains so high, for as long as you have this challenge with the exchange rate, there's nothing wrong in the government taking a decision to promote a social objective. It's not even only social, it's also an economic objective. There's sometimes you need to define your boundaries as far as this market forces is concerned. If the market forces is getting to a point that is hurting your citizens, you apply a brake, which is what the government has done. Do you want the government to go out there and say now because of market forces, go and buy fuel at 1,000 naira? If you are in government, will you be able to do that? Certainly not. So these stakeholders have different objectives. The objective of the private sector sometimes is purely commercial, it's probably profit. The objective of government is to ensure the welfare and the well-being of the citizens. So sometimes there's a conflict. And if there is conflict, government decides to opt to protect the welfare of the citizens. I think that is the way to go. Okay. It's not something that will last forever. Once there is a drop in crude oil price, once there is a stability in the foreign exchange market, then the government can hands off. But right now, we cannot leave everything entirely to market forces. That is what governance is all about. We need to give economic management a human face. That is the whole essence of what is happening now.
Okay, Dr. Yusuf, according to Bloomberg, the Naira lost about 55% of its value. That's as of Thursday, December 28, 2023, making 2023 its worst year. They have also projected that 2024 might usurp that title. So do you fear, in all of this, do you fear that this may further impact price of commodities, especially petroleum products?
Well, it depends on what the variables turn out to be. First, if we're able to improve on our domestic refining of petroleum products, and we have made some progress in this direction, with the Dangote refinery, with the NNPC refinery, with some modular refineries. If we're able to make some reasonable progress, then the pressure of importation of petroleum products on our foreign exchange market will reduce. If that happens, the challenge we are having with FX, with foreign exchange, may not be that severe, may not be as severe as what we had in 2023. Because importation of petroleum products is exerting a lot of pressure on our foreign exchange market. That is one. Secondly, if the government is also able to do a lot more in ensuring that we increase our crude oil outputs, in tackling the problem of crude oil theft and all of that, that will help to improve our reserves, to help to improve our foreign exchange earnings. Thirdly, the CBN is also taking some steps to restore confidence in the foreign exchange markets by clearing the backlog and also ensuring that we sustain the current reforms. If the CBN is able to significantly clear the backlog of outstanding maturing obligations of FX, then confidence will begin to return. If confidence returns to the market, we are likely to see a lot more autonomous inflows from FDIs, from foreign portfolio flows. So given this scenario, if things works out the way I've outlined it, then we are likely to see a much more stable exchange rate regime in 2024.
Well, even if we're able to achieve all that, hopefully if we do, or if Nigeria does achieve all that, the NNPCL boss has come out to say that the fact that the country has functional refineries now in place, whether Dangote, the one in Port Harcourt, the one in Warri, it will not in any way translate into a reduction in pump price. So it probably might just be a win on some sides and a loss on some other sides. Whatever the case may be, Nigerians will be the one to be the first witness of this issue, most especially as it resolves around PMS pump, of course, the price at the pumps. Dr. Muda Yusuf, Chief Executive Officer, Center for the Promotion of Enterprises. It was nice talking to you on the show.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.